All right, update on health. So my lab results came in and found out that I had some major deficiencies in certain vitamins in my body. And before anyone starts in on the whole, like, how is that going to mimic the signs of a heart attack? Trust me, your body's supposed to be able to produce a certain amount of whatever. And sometimes, if you're not getting enough of whatever you're supposed to be able to produce, uh, bad things can happen. So, I have an extreme deficiency of vitamin D. So, I've got prescription strength like 50,000 whatever of vitamin D supplements from my doctor. Um, that I take twice a week, and then they suggested now this one I could just do over the counter. So I have a very severe deficiency of B12 and many of the B vitamins actually. And if you don't know the vitamin D, bone health and joints and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've had friends who have taken those kinds of supplements and they said, hey, get some vitamin K as well because that helps offset whatever the vitamin D, like whatever leaches out of your bones. Sometimes it doesn't go back in there, so get some vitamin K. So I went and got that too. But vitamin B, vitamin B12, like that can deal with your immune system, your nervous system, your neurological, like it can deal with like everything is connected. It really is. Um Now I don't, me on my own, have like autoimmune, diseases or any immune, you know, immunocompromised, whatever. Like I don't have any of that kind of stuff. However, being severely deficient in vitamin B12, vitamin B, in general, a lot of the vitamin Bs, uh, that can cause some problems in my immune system. And that led to the inflammation of the thyroid. So thyroiditis is what my doctor said. And that's kind of like the beginning stages before the thyroid goes like overactive, underactive. Like I'm still learning about that stuff. So don't don't think that I'm like an expert at all. But yeah, and that caused a lot of issues there. So caught it early. And she's like, all right, so what we're gonna do, you are gonna be taking these supplements and you're gonna see me again in 3 months. Continue with the dieting the way that you have been. Like I haven't really been like dieting like crazy so much as just taking certain things out, like excess sugar, excess salt, and trying not to eat too many processed foods if I can help it. Not eating out as much or anything like that. I mean, aside from I can't afford to anyway, but you know um so, and then like light exercises per what I am able to tolerate or what my limitations are. I had to stop for a bit because of these health issues. And then going to the hospital, and I had to wait 2 weeks before I could see my doctor to get all the blood, give all the blood to be sent off for labs. So, because I went to the hospital just before Thanksgiving. So, yeah, it's almost a month later, I finally have some answers, and it's that I was severely deficient in a few vitamins, key vitamins, and um, the thyroiditis that could cause a lot of issues, and that could have gotten worse. So catching that now, that's really good. Um, and it's funny because like she did the lab, like she sent my blood to be tested for everything. I'm talking like gout and blood-borne diseases and lupus and arthritis, and she's just blood clots, and she's looking at everything on the microscopic level. Like she ordered like this long list of what to look for, like anything and everything that could be found in the blood is what she was testing for. So finding out that, hey, you are severely deficient in all these things, for vitamins, and you need this extra. Um, but it's good that I found out that it wasn't worse. But if you are deficient in certain vitamins, and depending on your genetic makeup, like your diet, your environment, like there are so many factors, right? But But so that you, I encourage that if anything is going on, definitely talk to your doctor. If you're feeling exhausted for some reason for a long period of time, and you don't know why. And people will so often try to say that it's stress or depression or whatever. Like, yes, I do have depression. Yes, I do have anxiety. I have some mental illnesses. And yeah, that can affect your body. But you should still talk to your doctor and get yourself checked if even if, you could chalk it up to, oh, I've just been anxious lately. You never know. I mean, the other reason why she wanted to look at whatever it could be for like anything in my blood is because guess what? Anything can get inside you if you like cut yourself on something. You don't know where it's been. Like, you heard the adage of you step on a rusty nail, you should get a tetanus shot. Yeah, like the same kind of concept that, you scratch yourself on something, you don't know if what's been on it. You don't know if something's been transferred to you. So it's good to be cautious a little bit, to be like, okay, you know I get phantom weird, I shouldn't say phantom, but I get random like scratches or bruises and I don't know where they came from because I'm doing life, I'm adulting, I'm taking care of my kids, I'm doing whatever, and I just I don't pay attention to how I get injured, So yeah, basically it boiled down to my body being deficient of a few essential vitamins. And yeah, being deficient in B vitamins can cause a lot of health issues with the thyroid, and um that coupled with extreme stress and anxiety, having consistent migraines, like, chronic migraines, and, other, issues going on, all that combined is basically what happened. Is yeah, that could definitely mimic the signs of a heart attack. Definitely mimic the pain that I felt in my left side, kind of not necessarily going numb, but being really heavy and hard to move, and me being disoriented and not knowing what's going on. It feels like something is pushing into my chest from the back. Like, is lots of stuff going on. But yeah, I don't have enough of the B vitamin in my body, or vitamin D. Um, that could have contributed to the severe aches and pains with the joints and the bones and stuff like that. And I already have joint pain from like my knee, my shoulder, from the previous injuries, and like I already have all this other stuff going on. But it's basically was a recipe for disaster. And um but yeah, now I know, and now I can take steps. I mean, that doesn't mean that it will completely resolve itself if I consistently take the supplements every single day. Because anything else could crop up. I don't know. But this is a step in the right direction. But I do encourage people that don't just chalk it up to whatever. If you in your gut feel like you have that instinct that maybe something is going on, then check with the doctor. And I hope that you are not gaslit, medically. I'm glad that I have a doctor that actually cares and doesn't just dismiss my concerns. But I have been gaslighted medically in the past, especially in the Navy. And that was really hard because it's like, I'm not making this stuff up. Like, why would I make this up? Like, this is really dumb. Um, and there are times when even I tried to be like, no, it's not that big a deal. It's just someone said I should come in, whatever. And they actually found some serious things happening. And they're like, no, you need to do this, this, and this. That's not okay. Uh, so yeah, but there were plenty of times when there were doctors who tried to tell me that I was making stuff up, that it wasn't that big a deal. Um, that happened as a teenager, actually, when I had mono, and it was because I drank from the same cup as someone who had mono. And it gets old real quick when people are like, "Oh, would you kiss someone?" No, no, I drank from the same cup as someone who had mono. Okay, but we went to like, my dad took me to like 5 different doctors, and 3 of them told him that I was just being dramatic, that I was making something up. The other 2 doctors like tested me fully, um, and found out that I had mono, I had the flu, I had the onset of bronchitis. I was just this recipe for disaster. But then I started to have issues with my organs, and I had to stay in the hospital often. So this is when I was like 15, 16 years old. So it's like 3 out of the 5 doctors tried to say that I was just being a dramatic teenager. And it's like, I can't do jack, okay? Like, I can't move. I am severely ill. I don't understand half what's going on. My dad was fuming because he's like, and he could barely afford to do any of the copays through his insurance because he was still struggling as a single parent right after a divorce where my mom took everything. So, I mean, like, he's terrified because his kid is super sick. And then he has to pay money for these a-holes to be like, she's just being dramatic. She's just being a teenager girl, teen girl. Like, she's just whatever. She's making it up. And it's like, I'm not, why would I make this up? Like, this seems a bit excessive. Like, it really does. Like, I don't understand. And I wasn't the type to like try to get attention or anything. I actually wanted to disappear and not have people pay attention to me. I was just like, just leave me alone. I'll go in my corner. I'll be fine. So I'm not trying to get attention. Like, I really don't feel well. So this is like happening consistently, and I know I'm not the only person. So I hope that if you feel instinctually that something is wrong, that you're not gaslit, that someone actually looks at you and says, okay, let's get this tested out. And maybe it's not something major. Okay, great. But maybe it is something that, is happening, and now you know. So I encourage you to not just assume that, oh, it's just stress or it's just anxiety or whatever. No, if you think that something is going on, check with your doctor. And I hope that they'll actually treat you well, because, I mean, I've read online like some pretty terrible like stories about things that have happened where people didn't believe someone and they almost died because they're like, oh, you're just making this up or you're just doing this or whatever. But no, it's like a serious condition. And that happens way too often. And that's happened to me. So that happened to me with my ovarian cysts, which are not a joke. And they attacked my body twice. I had to deal with ovarian cysts not just once, but twice. And some of the Navy doctors wanted to tell me to just walk it off. If you know anything about ovarian cysts, that is not something easy to do, okay? But finally, I got a doctor who actually cared about me and my health. And was like, no, you're going to be bedridden for 2 months, and then we'll see where we're at from there. But you're going to have to come in constantly to be tested. We're going to have to monitor you. Like, it's because it was just benign enough, just small enough to not be considered cancerous or something that where they would do invasive surgery. But it was bad enough that I was in agony. Okay. Like, menstrual pain, nothing compared to ovarian cysts. Okay, like menstrual pain, I will never complain about my menstrual pain again, because that is a cakewalk compared to ovarian cysts. But the fact that people were trying to tell me that I was making up my pain, that, oh, it's not that big a deal, complete BS. So, I mean, I was very frustrated in the hospital with this because the doctors were telling me that, oh, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this. We think it's stress and migraines. That's probably what it is. You're just overstressed. You just get migraines. So yeah, I was pissed and I was annoyed. I was just like, okay, so I don't have like a brain tumor. Okay, great. I don't have like any growths going on, any shadows, nothing around my neck or whatever. I mean, I have like bursitis and I have mild degenerative disc disease. But yeah, that was something that was already consistently there, like just before and during the Navy and after. So it's not like that wasn't the cause of this. But yeah, they looked at all the major stuff, but they just chalked it up to, oh, it's just stress, it's just a migraine, whatever. So I'm really glad that I did the follow with my doctor, and she ordered all these tests all these labs with my blood to see what's going on. She's like, okay, yeah, last year your thyroid looked great, but things can change, definitely. And so, yeah, I have thyroiditis, like the beginning stages of bad things happening with the thyroid. Like this, I'm just going over the bare basics, like of this. Like I'm not going to death because I wouldn't be able to speak to this intelligibly because I'm not an expert on this. I don't know this stuff very well. This is basically just me regurgitating what my doctor talked to me about with the results. So when she got the results, she's just like, okay, this is what's going on. But being deficient in certain vitamins and certain necessary nutrients for your body can have a serious impact on you. I mean, there are people who don't produce enough melatonin. I don't. I don't. Like I survive on 6 hours of sleep most of the time, sometimes less. And I'll be wide awake. I don't like it, but I'll be wide awake. My body functions on less sleep than most people. And that's how it's been since I was a kid. Um, I've tried taking supplements and anything to do with melatonin and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I literally have to trick myself into thinking that I am in a safe environment and super happy or something to try to get myself to sleep. Like I literally have to play mind games with myself to do that. But I don't produce enough of that chemical. So I mean that's one example that I do know because I've known about that for years. And doctors have said, well, unless we give you some really heavy stuff, there's not much we can do, and I don't want to do heavy like medication or anything like that. Um, but yeah, if your body isn't producing enough of something, it can have a serious impact on your health. So definitely talk to your doctor if you instinctually feel like there's something going on, or you're super tired, or something doesn't feel right. You never know. You never know. Like in this case, in the hospital, they just wrote off as stress and migraines. But my doctor was able to find that through the blood tests that I am severely deficient in vitamin D and vitamin B. Um, so I went out and got like the super B complex. And as well as like now I have the prescription grade like vitamin D and then the vitamin K on top of that. So vitamin K and the B complex, I take that, it's once I take it at night. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but like two people so far have suggested to take it in the morning because it's supposed to like wake you up or, give you a boost or whatever. I don't do, like, it's also people who caffeine affects differently than me. Like caffeine doesn't stimulate me in the same way that it might other people. Um, like it calms down my brain. It calms down it's like it's relaxant for my muscles, including my brain. So sometimes I'll have coffee before bed, and it doesn't keep me awake. It just it puts me into like a chill state, basically. So, um, I mean, I'm gonna be awake regardless, but sometimes if I have coffee before, it helps me kind of relax. And so it's just, it doesn't like wake me up the way that it does other people. Um, yeah, so I look at it as honestly, I've already, after a few days now of this, I've started to feel, because it was just last week, um, like Wednesday, Thursday is when I got the results, and then like, I went and got some vitamins on Thursday and Friday, and so past couple days, well, if I count Thursday for the B vitamins, 3 days. So past 3 days, I'm not like, woohoo, like I'm super better already. No, it's more like I can feel not as drained. It's not exactly that I'm like super awake or anything, or that I'm like super boost of energy or anything like that. It's more like I don't feel quite as drained, quite as exhausted doing simple tasks. I don't feel like I am about to fall over like I have the last few months. So already I feel like I'm not as exhausted. Now I'm still pretty exhausted. I'm still pretty blah. Um, but I can feel like it's not quite as bad. And that's just 3 days. Now, I metabolize pretty quickly. I'm the kind of person where if I were to exercise every day, I would metabolize things really, really quickly. And that's been multiple doctors throughout my life who've told me that. Um so I think that's just my body naturally like starting to like kick into gear and metabolize things quickly. So that's why it feels like there's a difference, even though it's not much of a difference. Um, but yeah, I'm the kind of person where like I could metabolize things really fast. Anytime I've done like a nutritionist class in the Navy or just after, and we did like the metabolic rate and resting metabolic, like I was always pretty high. I was really fast metabolism. So I think that's why it feels like I'm not as drained. Uh, but that aside, yeah. So that's kind of my update. That's my lab results. Where I found out what was wrong. And so, yeah, now this is going to be my path. I have 2 more refills of the vitamin D before I see my doctor again next year. Um, but, uh, but yeah, I'm gonna keep this up. So I have to take like my supplements with a meal. So I usually choose dinner. Now I'm about to go to bed. There's my customary yawn per video. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I have to have at least like there's always one yawn that happens in every video. So, um, but I honestly like I was doing some project whatever and I started to feel tired, but not like the very I feel drained like my energy is leaching, but I felt like a natural tired to oh, I've been doing activities and I'm tired. So, that already feel like I don't feel like my life force is being sucked away pretty much. I just feel the typical amount of tired. Um Regardless of how tired I am, half the time I don't go to sleep, but when I want to. But either way, so I'm about to go to bed, but I just wanted to get these thoughts out of my head and share that the good news that I found out what was wrong. It sucks what is wrong, and I have no idea how I'm deficient by I have practically very small amount. I don't remember the percentage. I don't remember the actual numbers that my doctor talked about. I just in her report. I would have to go and look because I think um I'm signed up for one of those apps where you're able to look at some of your records. But I haven't looked at it yet, so I'm just going off of like what I was told over the phone for the report. But either way, yeah, I don't know how I became so deficient in those vitamins. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Um, so that part we didn't dive into very much. It was more of, okay, we know this is the reason why your body reacted the way it did, plus all your stress and everything else combined on top of this. Um, so this is what we're going to do. So now it's the path forward. So don't really know how I got to this point, but at least I have a path forward. So we're going to go with that and then see how it does. Now I will tell you this, that both my boys were like basically they said, okay, well, what was wrong? Because they want to know because they were pretty scared when I went to the hospital and I had to stay overnight. Um, so they asked and I said, well, sometimes our bodies don't produce something and you need to take supplements for it. You need to take like it's kind of like medicine in a way. Or sometimes you do have prescription medicine, and that's to help your body regulate and do what it's supposed to do. But sometimes your body doesn't have the same amount as other people, or sometimes your body doesn't make something inside itself that it should. Um, so mommy's got to take these supplements that will make her better. So even though I'm pretty good at like keeping track of like I write notes to myself, and plus I have one of those big like whiteboard calendars downstairs, and I have 2 planners up here and then I have like sticky notes by my desk for my work. So I have all these things to write on, and I have like it mapped out like this day and this day twice a week that I will take the vitamin D supplements, and I put like V dot D, V dot B, V dot K, and I'll put those like, and so I have them written down. But the boys are also being very sweet. So every dinner for the past couple nights, each dinner they're just like, "Mommy, you gotta take those things, right? Because it makes you better, right?" I was like, so glad that you we had this one conversation and you remember all that and you're trying to help me make sure that mommy takes the supplements that she's supposed to. Um, so I was pretty proud of them and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like thank you so much for being helpful." And I'm not bothered by it honestly. Um, because it's like something that I'm supposed to remember, something that I'm supposed to. Sorry, my nose is itchy. It feels like I'm going to sneeze. Um, but like yeah, sometimes it'll annoy me if they're like constantly bugging me about like, but I want this toy or I want to do this or but this is one of those things where, it's helpful. Yes, I already know that I'm going to be taking my supplements, but I love that they're engaging and that they're caring and being like, we want mommy to be better. So, who knows? Maybe in 3 months, I won't think it's endearing and I'll think it's very annoying. I don't know, but so far it's I think it helps them though because they were really scared. I mean, like I am mommy. I am like the sole person in their life. Like I am their person. So um it's not just that I take care of them but I am here, I'm present and account for. I am the parent. And so it's we have our ups and downs, our moments, but this is our family. And so yeah, they were really scared. They were really upset because they didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. Um, but I think it's helping them to be engaged in this way. That if they're telling me, "Hey, take this or you're better," um, they don't have to stress or look back on the time that they were scared when mommy was gone overnight and very sick. And I think it really hit, I mean, it hit Connor hard because he's young. It hit Alan very hard because he had to ride in the ambulance with me to the hospital. So that's hard. That's very hard for a kid. He's already been through so much in his young life, and then having to witness where mommy is weak and unable to move and has to be in the ambulance to the ER. And then yeah, and then he's trying to be brave for little brother, and it's just that's difficult. That's difficult for any kid, when it comes to a parent or a loved one. But I mean, he just turned 9 years old this month. And so this was the end of last month, so he was still 8.5. And it's just, but still, it's yeah. So I don't know. Like, even though I say maybe in 3 months I won't find it endearing, I don't think so. I think I'll still find it endearing because this is something that they feel that they can do. Because it's hard when someone you love is going through something and you feel so helpless, like you can't do anything, like something that's affecting their health. If you've ever had to deal with watching a loved one go through cancer, which I have, someone going through Alzheimer's, which I have, you see how it affects them. You see what's going on, and you can only do so much. So that's how I equate in their mind. Like they felt helpless, they felt scared, they didn't know what to do. So I think reminding me every day to take my supplements with dinner, I think that's their way of helping and making them feel like they're being useful, and providing something for me. So although I say maybe I won't find it endearing, I think I probably will. Because I'm already tearing up thinking about like everything that they've gone through. And this was just me gone one night. I mean, also imagine if my doctor didn't test for any of that stuff. Imagine if this went on longer. Like, I could have had serious complications with my thyroid later on if we didn't catch this. I mean, there could have been other serious issues with my health if we didn't catch this when it comes to those vitamins that my body is not producing that I need extra of. um so it could have been worse. And so I'm very grateful for the people who have been helping us with this, and for my doctor for not just, pushing me aside and saying, oh, I don't think this is a big deal. But she took everything seriously, and she's like, you know what, the way this is going, let's test for all of it. Let's do this. And then, hey, this is what we found. This is what we're going to do. And let's here's a solution. And, I mean, unless anything else happens before then, I'll see her in 3 months. So, uh, yeah. So again, like, trust your instincts. So if you feel like something is wrong, talk to your doctor. I really hope the most for everyone out there that if you see this, and if you feel like something's going on, I hope that you're not just pushed aside or gaslit or anything. Like, I hope someone takes you seriously and you can get help, the help you need if something is going on. Um, and I'm not saying to just like think the way that I did, because I didn't think that it was like a vitamin B or vitamin D deficiency. Like, that was nowhere on my mind. So I'm not saying that, um if you're going through something similar, that maybe it's vitamins, being a vitamin deficiency, but blood work really highlights stuff. So if you're going to get like CT scans and MRIs and stuff like that, that will highlight certain other issues, and x-rays too. But blood work can tell you a lot, about what's going on underneath the surface and in your system. Um, so I mean, it's worth a shot if you have something going on and your doctor talks about doing like blood work. Like, yeah, definitely, if you're able to, because it can highlight a lot. It might catch things that you don't realize. Like, as I said, like, she had a long list of like arthritis and lupus and gout and bloodborne diseases, and like, I mean, not that I think that I had cut myself on or had a dirty knee or whatever, but like AIDS and like COVID and like, like all the things, like all the, like, there was this long list. Um, like tuberculosis, even though like I don't think I have another one required for that. I don't know. I have to look at my chart because I've already had like the shots up to my current age for tuberculosis, and I haven't been around anyone that I know of with that. So like, that's on the list. That's on this long list. So blood work, like labs, can highlight a lot. They can look for a lot of stuff. Um so that's something that you can consider. Again, though, it's case by case. My experience is not yours, so I encourage you to. That's why I encourage like conversations with a professional, with your doctor. That don't just go off of something on the internet or whatever. Like, have an actual conversation with your doctor about this stuff. But anyway, that's my update. I'm sorry I ramble. But hopefully I will be, I guess, more energized or more semi-normal, semi myself, like my typical self. And then maybe I can do some more videos that aren't like health stuff, or like, yeah, so I thought I was gonna die, but I didn't. But I have no idea why, and now I do. So I hope I don't have to have any more videos like this. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. I probably won't have another video before Christmas, so Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, happy whatever you celebrate, whatever you do. I hope it is wondrous and awesome and all that good stuff. So, all right, bye.